I'm at Bach Tower with my wife, partner, and we're going to be walking around with Cheryl Peterson. In fact, I'm shooting B-roll right now in my introduction. I've already done the walkthrough with Cheryl, so I like to do that because then I know what happened and I can sort of, rather than just guessing what you're going to experience, we go through, there's a greenhouse facility down there, there are bed gardens down here. We're going to look at some species in Lamiaceae, we're going to, which are the Conrandina and the Dicerandra, and also the native jujube. There's a lot of work being done there, as well as a few other things. There's the Crotalaria avenensis, the, I've already forgotten the genus, but it's the Hillsborough aster. And so there's a bunch of stuff going on over there. And so let's get going. I'll string this together in sequence, and hopefully you guys will enjoy this. It'll be in multiple chapters too.
Yeah, so this is our main greenhouse.
Okay.
This is also a shared facility. Most of what's in here is propagation of ornamentals and some native, like a production propagation for the gardens.
Okay.
We have 4 tables in here. And sometimes you can tell our tables, because they don't look as pretty, they look so different. But to me, they're more beautiful.
Yeah. Do you guys have an RO?
Germination trials we did last year. We collect the seeds, like I said, about May, early June, and then set up germination trials. And when we do that, these trays will fill up almost the whole table because we set up thousands of seeds at a time.
Okay.
From all the different genotypes and the different crosses and things like that, so we know who mates with who. And so it's our slow growers, but these are all seedlings that the volunteers just potted up from small pots into these larger ones. So hopefully now they'll have more time to grow.
And this is the native sand that you were speaking, or the native soil that you were speaking of? Yeah, it's a mixture
of our native soil and like a light commercial
mix. This is native ziziphus, pseudoziziphus.
Yeah, if we just put sand in any of these pots, it'll easily go through, but it also like compacts inside, and then the top forms a hard crust.
Okay.
And it's really hard for the roots, so we need like some like a light
aeration
seedling mixed to help aerate it.
Okay.
Yeah. But these are baby seedlings that not many people in the world will ever be able to see an actual ziziphus seedling.
Okay.
So these will be used to introduce new populations.
And what's the taxonomy, just for the public?
It's Pseudoziziphus salata.
Salata, okay. And I have an old video from your endangered plant garden in the proper, the collection out here, so that people, and I'll put a link to that for those of you watching. So. Okay, National Collection Beds. Let me get the sign here. Hopefully you guys can read that. And that's the tower there. You can see it. We'll get more of that later.
So we have 60 growing beds in here that are supported by the Center for Plant Conservation, and we maintain this national collection area because of our participation in the CPC.
Okay.
We hold about 2 million or so rare plant seeds, and maybe about 4,000 living plants in here.
Oh,
and some of the plants are important to have here, not just as seeds, but as living material, because of plants like the ziziphus that will fruit here that we need to maintain living genotypes in order to produce fruit.
Okay.
There's some species like the Savannah's mint that no longer exists in natural populations in the wild, so the plants that are rescued exist here. So this is a source of growth. When there's a lot of rescues that we do because of the road widening and development and such, and those rescued individuals, when they can be transplanted, they will end up here. So a lot of the plants here represent populations and that genetic uniqueness of those populations that's now gone from the wild.
Okay.
And then it's a source for studying pollinators or doing hybridization trials, or just looking at the life cycle of plants where there's not a whole lot known about, and as source material mostly Geringothamnus, Rugelii with some Pochellus, they lose their leaves. They're deciduous, so over the winter they lose their leaves, and they're just starting to form new leaves now. And so these will all be used for introduction work, hopefully this summer.
Okay.
But because they do not form seeds very much at all in the wild, it's very hard to find seeds. And if you find 1 or 2 seeds, and that's it in a population, the seeds belong there. You know? We only collect when it's safe to collect and not impact the natural population dynamics.
Okay.
So very few seeds are available. They don't really propagate by cuttings. It's not really that viable to dig up whole plants and take them. Sometimes root sections will work for these, but for the most part, the best way to propagate these reliably without impacting natural populations is through tissue culture.
Tissue culture, okay.
Yeah,
And that's
so
what these are.
That's what all these guys are.
Okay. And you used the term pawpaw, and I generally associate Asimina with pawpaw, and you were referencing a couple other genera, were you?
Just Deringothamnus, which is a pawpaw too. It's
okay.
Yeah,
is it clade to its Asimina?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. In fact, some people put Deringothamnus pulchellus into Asimina.
Oh, okay, so typical botany arguments.
Yeah, I don't want to get into the taxonomy because I don't have a dog in either fight. You know, either
right.
I'm just when we're funded by an agency to work on a particular species, whatever they call it.
That's the genus, right? Okay, I get that.
So this is Deringothamnus.
Deringothamnus, okay.
Yeah. Or Asimina if you want, but there are other Asiminas, but they're all pawpaws.
Right, okay, cool. I did not know that, so thank you. That's enlightening. Thank you. All right.